What's up, guys? As you know, we've been working through a massive Innova shipment the last 2 weeks. We finally got it all catalogued on the website. What we thought we'd do is get a couple of the resident Frisbee nerds in. They're going to take a deep dive into sort of what's happening with the Innova plastic, where it's at, some of the molds, some of their favourites, what's good, what's not. And yeah, we're going to take from there. Boys, you want to kick it off with the destroyers?
How could we not? How could we not? Alrighty.
What do you think's the kind of like pinnacle of the destroyers at the moment?
Man, there's so many, with all the new plastic they're putting out, it's pretty hard to look away from any of it. Like, we're looking at where before it felt you were kind of hunting down very specific styles and runs of destroyers. Now we're looking at like boxes upon boxes of destroyers here, and there's just so many good ones across so many different plastics. I think one of the big things to address with Innova is that, like a lot of brands over the COVID period, consistency of plastic across the board was pretty shit. Oh, pretty bad. So it feels like Innova have really started to address that. The biggest example is probably in the Champ plastic with their new...
It's unreal.
You want to run those up and
Sure.
show them, Mr.
Alrighty.
Cameraman? That new plastic is very... Obviously, with the new stamps that are looking sublime, a much better Champ feel. It's a very new Champ feel.
So much more premium.
Yeah, I don't have a really good comparison of any other brand or any prior Innova runs. I said when I first felt it, it reminded me of the old Innova, like 2018, 2017, but it's not. It's got probably a little bit more tackiness than that. It hasn't got that chalkiness they used to have, but it is reminiscent in terms of grip quality, and like this is one of the most premium plastics I've felt on the market.
I think that's what I said when I felt it for the first time. It just feels like premium plastic. Feels like a premium plastic should be.
Yeah. Like, you know, these things are going to be pretty stable. Like just on the feel and the profile of these, which, you know, Jacob and I have just looked extensively at every profile of every destroyer.
Every single one we can.
Yeah, it was long.
It almost looks like they started with the high dye Champ. Like, the quality seems to sort of like get a bit better there. And then, now in the
show this to you.
Yeah,
the regular Champ seems to be sort of on that level, like a little bit gummy.
Yeah, it's got give, but it's not. Maybe
it just feels
some
premium.
Of those real soft
just
ones.
feels good.
It's probably the best iteration of Champ I've felt from Innova, maybe ever, but certainly the stuff I've felt, including some very old stuff like what we have. The final comments I'd make on the Champs is like, when you're looking at, obviously everyone wants to know with the destroyer, everyone's got their different feels. Some people want a lot of dome. There's versatility and variety in not just the Champ, but across the range. Like, some of these Champs, like, that's a pretty flat style of Champ, which will be difficult for you to see, but I can see it. Whereas I'm looking at a really nice, solid dome.
It's just the slightest bit of dome.
Exactly. Just you can notice that dome immediately. I guess in terms of destroyers, like, you've heard what I've said about Champ, but I kind of give you a run across the range, because we love, Champ plastic's good, but what everyone really wants to talk about is a Star Destroyer, because that is like the bread and butter of Innova. I'd say that's, that's kind of their thing. You can see a couple of new stamps. We've got the Envision and the Star stamp there.
It's the normal stock Star stamp. Going back to that sort of cartoon style with a lot of their new Star ones. And it's the Envision Star.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the die is like, I don't know, the print is in the disc. I don't know. It's kind of new and different. We get very confused. Bottom stamp Star Destroyer. This is cream of the crop right here. In the red plastic, goes faster, goes further.
We love red.
A little bit straighter. Still has the bite to it. We both are bagging exactly this run at the moment. In the red. It's just unreal.
Seeing some big numbers.
Yeah, they do. Yep. Gonna be buying this for at least $100 from Big Fella in the Beast shop.
We've already acquired it. He gets none. Yep,
yeah, this is definitely not going in Disc Golf Warehouse. This is going straight in our bags.
In terms of how the new Star feels compared to old stuff, similar vein with the Champ stuff, this has kind of got a bit of a change to it. You can see they're working on making that plastic consistent. The Star Envision's a little stiffer, I would say, than the classic Star, but the Star has also got a little stiffer as well.
I don't know if the dye does something to it or something.
Yeah, the Star it's a little bit stiffer than it used to be, which means you're probably going to get them. They're probably going to beat in at the correct rate that Star's supposed to. They've probably kind of nailed.
It was quite slick in those Ricky runs.
Yeah. So I think
Tom particularly had issues with the slickness, of course.
There's a little bit of sprinkle in there.
Those greasy little hands.
So yeah, I think you've kind of got where they're looking for star.
Yeah.
This is where the new ones are,
It's come
and
back.
you can kind of see it as again in the bottom stamp stuff. They've seemed to have honed in on what they're looking for, and this feels kind of like they're completed. Their brand's been doing it for what 30, 40 years or whatever, but it feels they've kind of found this new market of plastic. This is what they're looking for. This is their premium stuff.
And what about the Pro? There's been a lot of hype about the Pro plastic. I know. What do people in general think about Pro Destroyer?
I think this has been the most significant change of all the plastics. Like we talk about the Champ being a huge change into a lot more premium, but with the Pro, I'll show you the difference in the stamp. First of all, that's the old one, that's the new one. It's hard to tell maybe on camera the difference in the plastic, but it's almost become like a softer star, not a G star or anything like that, but like a softer star where it's still got that premium feel, still got the grip, but it actually handles a bit of heat. It handles being a little bit wetter. It handles a little bit more beat, where the old ones a bit stiffer. As soon as it got way too hot, they turned waxy and just kind of melted in your hands.
They chewed up really quick.
Chewed up really, really fast.
To call the Pro Destroyers anything else, they are bomber destroyers. These are your absolute send it destroyers. Jacob's got one for full distance. I've got one for rollers because I've beat it in so much now.
They definitely beat up faster than the Star.
They do. It's that softness. The closest.
What would the average sort of like thrower expect out of a Pro Destroyer?
A Pro Destroyer is kind of
it's like
what
a
are those
beginner
idiots
destroyer
on the internet call it? Like a People's Destroyer.
Destroyer. Yeah.
Easy to handle.
A little bit easy to throw. Like you're getting
softer,
like your kind of Wraith, softer flight. Maybe even a little bit softer than that. Especially maybe like a month of throwing it.
Wearing it in a little
bit. It ends up being a big bomber. I mean, anyone wanting to get their first destroyer, it's a good starting point. It will last you way longer than the old ones, and they feel good. And then the stamp's great. Like it's honestly one of my favorite stamps the destroyers have.
Yeah. If you're that kind of like 100-meter thrower, maybe like 105 kind of destroyer and thrower, and this
you'll
is
get
where
a bit
you're
of turn
looking
out
for
of
that
it.
destroyer, you're going to start, especially as you wear it in a little, and because they get that wear a bit quicker, you'll really get to see what you get to see out of the pros do with your own destroyer. They're I think this is a destroyer.
Even us throwing a little bit further, it's definitely lasting longer than we were expecting it to. We were so shocked when we felt it a while ago. What have you got there? That's a metal flake. Of course, in that new premium Champ, still feels great in the Blizzard Champion
lighter
plastic.
Weight. I find my imagination of
wow.
how they kind of throw is in the same vein of the Pro, but you can get something a bit heavier, which I personally prefer.
I think that'll handle the wind a bit better.
All right. Well, obviously we were going to chat about destroyers all day, so Sean told us to hurry up.
Yeah, apparently we can't talk about destroyers for too long. I mean, as much as they feel like all of our bag.
But I guess when we run through a lot of this stuff, you're going to hear, I think, across the board with all this new plastic, it's pretty much common. That Champ plastic is definitely in that right spot. The Star is kind of the same in the destroyer. That's running all the way across. The only stuff we haven't talked about is Halo. We can talk about soon.
I thought Discraft were the only brand that did this. Didn't Paul McBeth just say the other day that Discraft were the only one that did this?
Except every other brand.
But the only brand that did this apparently was Discraft. Yeah.
Every brand.
According to Paul McBeth. I mean,
you heard it here first.
I guess this is just an accident apparently.
So again, new stamps. That's the Blizzard Champ Wraith stamp.
I'm really liking that ring there on those. That's the normal Star, the Champ Eye.
Got Champ and Pro.
Champ and the Pro.
I will say these Wraiths feel very good. I've never been a big Champ Wraith guy. Personally prefer the Star, but these Pros will go like that.
That new Champ is just so good.
Bottom stamp. I love a Star Wraith. That's always been a bit of a baby of mine.
Pro's a bit of a mixed bag.
Solid.
That feels more like the S line from Dismania at the moment.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep. One little baby.
The Dyer's Special Wraith, bottom stamp, white ones. Not exclusive to Discraft.
I think we have to talk Thundies because there's such a big stack of Thundies.
Of course.
Here
How can we not talk about Thundies?
Get in there with some Champ.
Alrighty. Those are the Champ ones. There's the old one that's still they're coming out with, and then the new one as well. Both in that newer Champ plastic. What can we not say about the Thunderbird? You just get all the distance you want. with some reliability, handles the wind well. What more could you want? Firebird that goes a lot further. Get that glide. You still, I mean, what? I'm getting these out to 120 odd.
130 on a good day?
Yeah, 130 on a good day. Your 100-meter throw, I could definitely get it to their max throw and more. It's good to learn your angles. Will handle your headwinds. It'll handle the tailwinds in the same way.
Getting a number of Thundies in your bag, both of us have.
The champ ones tend to be a little bit straighter, which is a bit interesting. They've got a little bit more dome, maybe a bit more glide.
Yeah, where the Star Thunder, especially this new plastic again, which is in the same vein, little stiffer, very flat.
Yeah,
definitely some stability.
A little bit more low profile. Those ones handle the wind maybe a touch better.
So if you
get those in the pro as well, if you want something a little bit more straight out of the box, beat up a bit quicker.
Feel like us and like beating in a couple of Thundies, having a few in the bag that kind of fit your slots.
So nice to cycle.
You can have multiple of these in multiple wears, and they're still going to be holding up. I mean, I've got a 6-year-old Thundy that's straight as an arrow, still holding up, still got integrity. So it's hard to say no with a good Star Thundy.
Honestly.
The most thrown disc in my bag, the most thrown slot probably in both of ours.
I'd say so.
Destroyers. It's got to be our baby Firebirds. Everyone knows Firebird.
Here's the stock Star Firebird. Nice swirly purple, blue one there. Star Eye Dye. This is a new one we were very excited to see. That's the Dye Special white bottom stamp.
And the most important one there.
And then the best, I'll give you those. These are the best Firebirds on the market, I think, at the moment.
Just about.
The Champ Eye Dye. I mean, it's just to see, a lot of the new Champ Firebirds are still a little bit different, a little bit more variable, but in this Champ Eye Dye, we've had a few of them. They're just so consistently good. That new Champ plastic, nice and overstable, not like your super FAF flat ones, but they're stable, they're reliable. They're all very pretty.
Yeah. So as you can see here, there's so many more behind me.
Sure.
I think this is probably the most consistent run of Firebird that we've found. When you talk about Firebirds, we could talk about the Halo Star, which is incredibly stable. Pretty much for the most part, they're either flat. A few of them are domey that aren't as stable. So if that's your vibe, then so be it. I've got one that's really flat, and they're very stable, and that's kind of
they're the most overstable ones you can get at the moment, I think.
But for me, this is like Mr. Versatile.
So consistent.
It's stable, but it gets a bit of push.
Yeah.
It hasn't got the big dumping finish that you're going to get out of something like this. This is just, everyone needs one in their bag, because this is your forehand disc. This is your backhand to go left. It's a wind fighter. This is like Mr. Reliability. And this run with these cute little dies, it kind of fit everything that... Not that one, that's Jacob's.
Well, that one's going straight in my bag.
Yeah, this fits everything that we look for out of a Firebird.
Yeah, that orange one's fantastic. It's got a little bit of blue in there. I don't know about that, but...
yeah, you can pick that up from bigfellerinthebase.com, $59.99. Thank you very much.
You get them a little bit cheaper from Disc Golf Warehouse, I hear.
The blank white bottom stem ones are a bit flatter than the...
Bit flatter than the normal Star ones. So the Star ones have been coming out a little bit more inconsistent. Well, I guess they've been consistently with a little bit of dome. So if you want the straighter Firebird, that kind of maybe FD3 kind of slot, maybe stock Raptor slot.
Yeah.
That might be what you're looking for. The dome isn't quite what I'm looking for, but if you do want a bit straighter, that's going to be...
Yeah, if you want one that's got a little bit of dome, very good on your
But those white ones are flatter.
Especially someone with maybe a smaller arm, but they still want stability. I'd be looking at a Star Firebird. I think everyone's going to start with them. They're great plastics. Firebirds really suit stiffness, so the stiffer you can get them is often where you get the best reward, just the nature of the disc. But yeah, the Firebirds right now
are... rim, but grippy in the flat.
Firebirds right now are a hot commodity, so to speak, and I'm going to put these back.
That's a Roadrunner.
Yeah, I butchered it straight up. Yep, that's my bad.
He's fired.
Obviously, these Firebirds... with these are great. These are looking really good. There's a couple here, so that's quite domey. That will actually glide and go. But then there's a couple here that
that Halo that kind of looks like a Halo Champion. It's kind of kind of opaque, but not quite that Halo Star. It's interesting. I think there's going to be some more Halo Champion to come.
There's also a few for the people looking like the Envision. Oh yeah,
the Envision ones, the dyed one with the really cool stamp.
It's so in right now.
It's just so in right now.
So, all right, let's talk through a few of the
He's
other...
in with the memes. He's not McBoomer. He's in.
I'm youthful.
He knows how to use technology.
So
he knows Google.
We've got a few more. We've got a few more like the classic molds, and then we'll kind of show you a few.
If you're going to talk about Innova, you got to talk about the boss.
The boss is,
of course. Now they've all got the 1108 there, the David Wiggins special distance record holder. That's in that new champion. It's
nice.
That's fantastic. That's got a bit of dome, a little bit of bubble in the rim, but still in the 171.
But these are the ones.
The bosses at the moment, I think we were quite neglectful of them in the early days. Where
destroyer guys.
We were destroyer guys. We didn't kind of go towards them. A mate of ours got us back into them again. The new stamp's fantastic. How's that? That's so cool. And I mean, I think almost all of them except the Halo have the 1108 on there. Cool homage to the man.
These Halos are going to bomb.
These got the bubble rim, so there's a little bit more weight in the middle of the disc. So it means that maybe a little bit less stable, but they're not all like that with the bubble in the rim. So I'd be interested to see the stability of these. I haven't thrown this star run yet, but I would say that's going to be maybe a little bit less stable than the
Those
champ.
Halos are going to go.
The Halos are going to be the most stable of the lot. As you'd expect, probably not as stable as the Big Germ Tour Series from last year and the year before. Yeah. Wow, these Halos are champions. Fantastic.
It's great.
I'm loving that plastic. Got a little bit of bubble in the rim. That's very interesting. But all the new stamps, they've done so well. That's so swirly.
For those people that like those like a bit more energetic and those style of stamps, I'm a bit of a simple guy. I like a simple stamp, but for the more interesting palettes out there, you've got yourself some
creativity.
You've got
somebody that actually likes to look at their disc. You're not actually just thinking about the throw. Far out. Bloody weirdo.
I was going to cop that. Alrighty. We got to talk Toro. Jacob and I are both converts.
This is a nice dye special one. White star one. They're all flat.
Oh, yeah.
Every Toro I've seen has been flat. I think I like the star ones the best. I think the star ones, it's been interesting. We've talked a bit about the Toros. Like, the champ ones probably get a bit more go. They're probably a little bit more stable and finish. What we call the prodigy finish. They come in a little bit more on a sharp angle. Where the star ones are probably just as stable, but
softer kind of
finish. A bit slower, maybe they feel like. I think these Eye star ones are going to be the softest of those. But they still finish hard. They still handle the wind better than any other overstable 4-speed on the market.
For someone unsure
why
about...
is Discraft copying it today? They always do.
Yeah. For people unaware of kind of what the Toro is, this is obviously Innova's answer to kind of the zone, but it's not really a zone. This is kind of the step up from the zone. It's a bit more stable. It fights the wind a bit harder. I think what some people look for in those like really stable zones, those like kind of special runs, this is that.
You just can't get.
Just always.
But every single one of them is an overstable.
I have yet to see a single champ Toro, and I got a bunch of them, which felt like every single one of them. They're all exactly the same. The consistency of this mold seems to be
Tom, make sure to feel every single
one. Every single disc you get in this store, I touched, I promise.
Big fella and the beast.
Take that as you want.
Do you think they fly a little slower than a zone?
I wouldn't say slower, they're fatter. So the way they
slow down
deal with the wind is they slow down a bit more. There's maybe a touch less glide.
Yeah.
I think if you're a zone thrower, you might, some of those zones, especially the less stable ones, will get out there a bit more, which is exactly not the purpose of what I want in my approach disc. These are still going to get you that same shape, but they're just a touch more reliable, a little bit fatter in the hand, which I personally prefer with these little chunky boys on here. Probably like the harp's a little bit fatter. Yeah, that's the kind of category you're looking at. But the Toro is truly just the Innova hit it on that. I mean, I think almost all the Innova guys.
Our boy Vinny, he knows what's up. He knows what's going on.
So I think there's a couple of other interesting molds to look at here.
We've got to talk about the Mako 3.
Jacob's a recent Mako convert.
These are the Domi ones as well. Much like our Bainey special ones that we're loving at the moment. Halo Mako 3. A little bit domier ones tend to be more stable. I'm not exactly sure the physics there.
Let it be.
I have to ask our Queensland correspondent Riley Ingle about that one. Nice simple champion stamp there.
New stamps looking good on that.
Yeah, the bottom stamp star one's a little bit flatter.
Bottoms.
I don't think that makes them flippier, but I think maybe they handle the wind a little bit differently. I don't know. We don't know.
We're not scientists. We
Our
just
boy
know
in
what
Queensland
feels
does
good.
that.
We
Yeah, I mean, the Bainey run is the one I'm throwing at the moment.
it's probably one of the molds that
the
gets
exact
forgotten
same
a little.
as this.
Everyone suddenly converts to a buzz or something like that. But these are like your everyday man, straight shooting, reliable disc.
Yeah,
Like
perfect.
5500
perfect for everyone at every
on
level.
the number. I sometimes find with the buzz because they're a little bit fatter in hand, a little bit different shape.
Yeah, they need
Some
the
of them-
speed to get going.
Yeah, some people can just find they'll still be dumping left, or conversely, they just can get a bit squirrely. I feel you know what you're going to get with your Makos. Yeah, it's a little bit forgotten about. These are a straight shooter for everyone. You're going to get reward out of this. A bit more generous to people, and you can get a bit more interesting shape out of it because it probably has a touch more glide.
It's got premium glide.
Speaking of glide, this was probably the one that I felt,
Roadrunner.
which not a disc that I've thrown in a long time, but I felt it and I was like, oh, I've probably got to put one of these in my bag.
It's in that premium kind of champion halo looking one.
These Rose Runners are probably some of the best Frisbees I've felt in a while. I don't know what it is.
We've always been the Sidewinder kind of guys,
Yeah.
but the Roadrunner's definitely on the prowl again. They've become maybe a little bit less inconsistent as they were, as with almost every mold from Innova lately. Like, it's just so much more consistent, so much easier to be getting in your bag. I don't know. I'm loving it.
For the intro and like intermediate players that are really looking to push their distance, these are going to go. They're glide, 9-speed. These just don't stop going. For the new player, this is a great introduction in kind of getting up to those faster discs. You're still going to get a lot of glide out of this. It's still like a full-size Frisbee. It's going to go. For your more advanced and bigger throwers, this is a roller disc, and it is a very good roller disc.
It's probably the best, one of the best roller discs on the market.
It's straight out of the box. You're going to be able to get a lot of glides for your really straight to flip. You can force it over, especially with this road. These halos that feel like they have just a bit more stability.
Yeah.
So there are a few.
How good is it to be surrounded by this?
Simple pleasures.
Jesus.
There are a few really odd and just interesting things we wanted to kind of show off.
Had this beautiful pair of black XT whales.
I think Innova kind of gets left behind in their putters. Everyone kind of forgets because they have some. Obviously, they're known for the Bosses, Destroyers, bits
Why
and
do
bobs.
these actually feel good?
There's some amazing little putting pairs that we
I
found.
thought Alex was stupid.
Oh, they're a bit. They're
I thought Alex didn't know what he's talking
deep.
about.
Yeah.
Swapping sides now. That's fair enough.
Spice it up for the people. So as part of this massive, all these boxes that have come in, there's a lot of pairs. So if you're looking for those putting pairs, most like these are the old KC stamps. These are the last I could find.
These are both 171 XT whales.
They're a premium, $50 each. Yep, you get the drill.
Yeah, straight from Big Fella and the base.com.
Yeah.
About the Zero.
We got to pull out a Zero.
The fabled Zero.
Under the Destroyers.
Alrighty.
Oh, you know where they are, Mr. Dobbs.
It's an AVR 3. That's a dart. The dart's kind of an interesting one. I've been intrigued by that.
What the hell is that?
Has an arrow.
The
Zero. That was the putter that they supposedly made for Ricky. Can I have one of those?
Yeah.
Well,
get up there, go show the people.
Jeez. This is in
here you go.
This is in the XT.
Show those off because they're actually interesting.
That's in the XT. It's a nice little pair. Max weight. I'll give you those. It's in the Pro. R Pro, sorry. That softer rubber blend Pro. These are so... I mean, it's like a... What? A little bit lower profile AVR with this very small bead. I mean, I think they were... I mean, we know what they were trying to make for Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left him.
Something with beginning with D and ending with Aga. But...
Anyway, these are great. These are lovely.
It's a dagger.
It's going to be...
Like a dagger,
yeah, if you like a dagger, you're going to like this. But this is in that rubber blend. And then the XT is a little bit stiffer.
Unrelated, I just want to show you the prettiest Frisbee I found. It's just really hard. That's all.
You can't... Like, there's so many.
Yeah. So we've only shown a few molds here, but I think...
Where was it?
There's so many different molds here. The Innova is just loaded with a lot of molds. And a lot of molds that kind of get forgotten. Your X-Cows, some are like your flippier stuff, those big like Katanas, Daedaluses, those styles of discs. There's a lot here. We've just cherry-picked what we
Metal
throw.
Flake. I wish they did more Metal Flake.
Yeah,
Metal Flake Thunderbirds. Innova. Bring him back, please, please. When
I don't
Innova
think
sponsor
they're
us
gonna
in
listen.
30
I don't think they're
years,
going to listen to you just quietly. Maybe.
I hope they do. I'm
I
praying
would.
for it.
Do you have any questions for us, Mr. Dobbs? I guess you're the man of the frisbee touching, and
That was pretty good. Well, there's a couple of other boxes up there. What about those Halo Numbers, Halo Turns?
Alrighty.
show a bit of the Halo stuff. Oh, Jacob, get the beasts.
Oh, we're going to get into the
Now,
base.
let's talk beast. We're gonna screw the rest of the frisbees. We're talking beasts.
The Pro Overflow box. Might be some gems in there.
Pull that one.
Yeah, we get that.
Oh, we got it.
So,
Alright, we're going to get into
we've got some pretty hot beasts here. I've never
Yeah,
really
crack
understood
another
what the
bottle of
beast
wine.
did, but we've thrown a couple of them. They're actually pretty hot. There's just a couple of really pretty ones. The beast is, the way I look at the beast is if I am not throwing quite as far, it's basically just getting a pro's Thunderbird flight. It's slightly faster, slightly flippier. It's how you just recreate a Thundy for a slightly smaller arm. These are criminally underrated. You can throw them backhand and forehand, and they're meant to be in everyone's bag. I think everyone has to have a beast now. Sean has actually told us
The
everyone has to
Halo
have a
Beast, if you like a Thunderbird, I mean, maybe even in like the Pro or something would be interesting to see in a new player's bag. Like if you like a Thunderbird but you want a little bit more, and an Onyx is too stable, maybe even, the
they come out shallow
Vulture,
and
too
shit, so-
overstable.
That's
Like you don't quite want that. I mean, these Pro
Let's
bosses
talk
and
about the
Pro
only
turns are
disc that
lovely.
matters tonight.
Was that Pro Mamba?
No, this is the Halo Mamba.
Halo Mamba.
These are all the rage. I can't throw one. I don't have the touch
Our
for
boy,
it.
Connor Donnelly,
Connor Donnelly is the Mamba guy. We're going
He's
to put
about
a
to get a
signature on here
signature
soon. Yeah.
he's about to get a
Um,
signature.
There's a reason they're popular. The stamp's great. They glide unreasonably far. There's nothing we can say about them that will do them justice, but this is the kind of the pinnacle of the slower arm disc. You're an old boy looking to get an extra couple of distance. You get this thing on hyzer and let it glide and watch it. I don't know. Don't throw it in a headwind. You'll get what you deserve otherwise.
These Champion Beasts, that was... Well, sorry to digress.
Oh, sorry.
Not sorry to digress.
Yeah.
Champion Beasts, this was one of the discs that was... I got from... I think it was some American guy in the early days. I had a dyed one. And it just, like...
That was
I
your
learned
bread
how to
and
throw some more distance shots with it. Unlike anything else. Like, Thunderbird was just still kind of overstable for me. It was nice to try something just had all the glide in the world. It says 10.5 neg 2.2. It's a bit more overstable than that. I think it's 10.5 neg
I think
1.2.
the star ones will be pretty much that.
The Star
feel
ones will
very
probably
straight,
be
you know.
that. The Halo ones are pretty much
Something
10.602, I would say.
They definitely have glide.
Couple of new... I mean, the Turn is a mold that I think a lot of people know. Lower arm speed
That was me.
destroyer.
I was the guy.
Maybe it's a little bit shallower, so if you got a smaller hand, it is nice. I think it is a 12 speed, so a little bit smaller than like your Shrike or something like that. Perfect for smaller hands.
And you get a pro
Small draw.
turn, and it goes even further.
That is going to go very
It's
far.
in the name, pro.
Mystere was...
Anything in Pro goes further.
Everything in pro goes
I think
further.
so. I think so.
I've never
Halo
seen a pro
Mystere
call
was
that.
an interesting one. That was
No,
a
it's
new
true.
mold when we were diligently putting all these discs away that we've now made a mess of.
Dips up.
The Mystere is an interesting one. I think it's going to be a bomber, quite understable. Mate, great roller disc, I think. I'd be interested to try that for a roller disc for us. What have you got there? More Pro Destroyers?
No, I would never have more pro destroyers in my hand. Just a reminder.
You
buy
could
the
just
pro
cycle.
destroyers.
You could just cycle them in and out.
Just
like,
buy more pro destroyers. We're
how
not
could
even going
you
to lie
not?
to you. This is what we came here for. This is what we're going to leave with.
Maybe one last one we could pull that Eagle box down.
Oh, we got to talk about the Eagle.
No,
I think it's a. I had an Eagle here. Did you steal it?
I think I took it home.
Oh, that's fair. Pretty standard practice.
You saw nothing.
There goes all the frisbees once again. I didn't drink.
So, just kind of pull out a couple of the ones that I saw.
Show the
Also, I
fans.
think I saw a couple of nice
These
ones
big
at
fella and the
Flying
beast
Dog
fans
recently.
are going to be living good. Normally they get very
I've-
1 second of content a month.
Oh yeah, just the way I like it. So, new stamp in those nice little eye dyes. That's the Envision. I'm pretty sure these are just a couple. There's a lot of them there.
Envision.
A little bit later, Envision, yeah.
Yeah.
What we can feel pretty much in the same vein as how we felt all the other plastics. These feel very consistent. The Eagle's arguably the most inconsistent mold on the market. That's how I've found it. We've got some stable, we've got some flippy. Condor has rollers. Don't ask why.
Well, those are like old, super beat in.
But these are that everything about them feels that stable Eagle, consistent Eagle. They've got some glide. They've got reliability. You can feel Calvin.
These new champ ones have a lot of dome. I think they're going to be
there's a bit of glide
bombers. I think Connor, our mate, he said the other day that he had one that was quite overstable that he picked out, another one that was a bit domier that went a little bit further. I think it looks like these, in general, the Champ Eye Dye, a little bit less dome, a little bit more stable profile, and the normal Champ, a little bit domier. How nice is that new stamp? They really need to get Calvin's name on there. Ken Climo's in the pub.
No, he's already got Toro, don't be greedy.
When he wins Worlds,
but it looks pretty too, so there's heaps of them.
Who doesn't like a T-bird? T-bird's good for everybody.
I've discussed the plastic. If you don't get it by now, you shouldn't be here. The plastic's good.
Even the new DX.
See if there's anything else that the fans
DX
show. Sean,
DX.
you got any more
Always a winner.
Queries? I'm trying to see if there's any final comments I want to...
So we're walking away with just everything, yeah.
Unfortunately,
no one's going to be able to get anything. It's just coming home with us. That's a shame.
Yeah, the T-Bird lovers, these are really consistent. They kind of feel like those... I'm going to piss those T-Bird people off by forgetting all their runs, but it's the...
12 time? 11 time?
No.
10 time?
No. It's, it was what they did a tour series for someone and they kind of felt...
KJ Nibo?
I don't know.
Avery Jenkins? The AJ ones were nice. Riley... Our boy in Queensland, Riley...
They've got that nice consistent shoulder to them, but they still kind of remain the flat on top, so you know they're going to be pretty straight, but not... Some T-Birds, get a little bit squirrely, some too much. These feel pretty on the mark. Shock, Innova's kind of got their plastic right, and now things are working out. I don't know how to wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the Innova spiel from Big Fella and the Beast.
We're going to be here for 40 minutes packing it up.
Yeah, I mean, we came here to help put all these discs away just so that we could feel every single disc and touch everything we could. The plastic's amazing.
Yeah, there's no further comments, Your Honour.
Yeah, we're going to have some more wines and try and clean up.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. If you learned nothing, well...
Big Fella and the Beast 5. If you stay all the way to the end.
Get life.